Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Manchester United Agenda, 30th of April. I'm delighted to have Yabba back with us this evening after he's been out with a bit of illness. But mainly, we've been arguing about art styles backstage. Yabba, how are you?
Yeah, good. I'm privy to having all the inside scoop because I'm in the group chat and I've been seeing what's going down with the art styles. It's really inventive. It's amazing what you can do with this new technology, you know. And I hope you guys are enjoying the new thumbnails, and there's some new surprises coming up with the thumbnails as well with this new technology that we're using. So yeah, really exciting times for the Man United Agenda.
Getting excited over thumbnails. The team ain't doing shit for us, are they? Bloody hell.
Mr. B, you were going crackers about the thumbnail that I showed you earlier. You loved it.
Yeah, I tell you, amazing. No, I think it's great. I think they're fantastic. Sitting in traffic was lovely.
Oh no, I had to carry on working when I got home because I spent 2 hours getting requests from Mr. B about something that you'll see a little bit later. But you're right, Mr. B, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I just want the week to finish, man. It seems last week got spoiled with the 4-day week. I am battered.
You're struggling to get through.
Yeah. The weekend really does need to come quick, man.
Right. But this is the man that finishes like 11 o'clock in AM.
No, they've been putting more work on me, the bastards. I think somebody's been talking. Yeah, I wasn't happy. I got in at 2 o'clock today, 2 o'clock ish, give or take, and I still.
I was thinking, Mr. B, like I don't know if you know a guy called Jack Jones. Have you heard of Jack Jones?
He makes t-shirts.
Not the singer. He's sort of a social media YouTube guy, does pranks on people, goes around. Must have seen him.
No, he ain't going to come up on my feed, I tell you.
Well, I was thinking I might see you on his stream because he goes around London and he's with a van driver the other day. And what was he doing? He says, "Oh, do you want a kiss?" He keeps going, but really it's a sweet called Kiss. Is there a sweet called Kiss? Kind of like a...
I have no idea.
Chocolate called Kiss or something?
What are you talking about?
There's a guy called Jack Jones. Have you heard of him, Jack Jones?
No.
Is his name Jack Jones? I don't know.
So it's an internet prankster.
He's an internet prankster. He goes around, you know, messing with people, like going up to their face or suggesting funny things, you know. And what reminded me, because he went to a van man the other day in London, and the joke was, he says to people, "Do you want a kiss?" And they're like, "No, obviously they don't want a kiss." But it turns out he's got there's a sweet called Kiss.
Hershey's Kisses.
Yeah, that's the one. What do you call it?
Hershey's,
that's the one, yeah. So at the last minute, he pulled out the Hershey's, you know. And there's a black guy in the van. I thought, oh my God, that could be Mr. B. He rolled with it a bit. And the guy said, "You want a kiss?" He's like, "Nah, mate, no, nothing to do with me." Because obviously he's got the camera there. And,
what happens if the guy goes, "Yeah, go on then"?
I'm
really angry.
And sticks his fucking tongue out, you know what I mean? Then what's he going to do?
Yeah, he's going to have to marry him. Those are the rules.
But Mr. B, keep your eyes peeled, because I think if that does happen, it would be legendary.
No, it fucking wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. I'm not that guy, innit? I am not that guy. No fucking way. I'd run him over.
You don't like pranks?
No, man, not when I'm at fucking work. I ain't got time for that. I don't even want to talk to I barely talk to cuss. I'm polite. But, you know, no, this conversation is very, very minimal, man. Man telling me he wants a kiss, I'll box him in the side of his head.
All right, speaking of people that you'd like to box on the side of the head, shall we see who's in chat? It's the aggression that I always like. Steph, Delict Ahmad in heaven, they're all unavailable from what I checked. But Ahmad I saw was rated 45%. I don't know where they get these percentages from, but I think, yeah, I mean, I don't even know if they're going to be ready for like the return leg. But we'll see.
You know why they've all gone though, right? You know the reason why they've all flown out? Because they're training in Bilbao. They're training in Bilbao in the morning, innit?
Right, so they got the night before.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Klopp used to do this in Europe. It seems very sensible to me. Although Bilbao's really close, so 2.5 hours on the plane, maybe 3 to Manny.
Well, they train in the morning while they're over there, and maybe fly back and go home, innit? At least they've got their training in. So,
all right, we've got Andrew just saying, "Watch you." Good evening to Simon. I hope you're well, Simon. Let us know what mishaps you've been in. Got Steph bigging everyone up. Right, very, very quickly, you can talk about this if you want. Yabba, Eubank, Ben. I didn't watch it, so I thought it was overrated.
Yeah, I watched it live. We watched it in a big open air pub because we were DJing, and straight afterwards the fight came on. Magnificent, memorable fight. Fight I'll never forget. Not for skill levels or anything like that, but just like fortitude for them. These guys kept, going for it, and really tough. Didn't want to break, didn't want to sort of concede to the other one when someone could have easily folded. There were times where both fighters were hurt. Really respect Chris Eubank for winning the fight. I think he did win the fight. I think he was screwed over with the weight draining thing and then the rehydration clause. That was really, when you saw him before the fight, you thought, wow, he looked zapped, and he just didn't make the weight by 0.5 or something like that, which is minor. But they were just doing everything in their power to give Ben the advantage. And you talk about Ben, who's clearly, whatever he was using before, he was taking shots from Chris Eubank and just walking through them. And his head is bigger than Chris Eubanks, and he's a smaller guy. I just think you got to get the drugs out of the sport. He's an absolute menace, a machine, a madman. And I don't think he's got the skill levels, really. But obviously, being Nigel Benn's son, that's progressed him a lot. But I've never really liked him. Not as a boxer, I've never really liked him. Never thought, how could this guy be whack? When he first come out, he was getting dropped and all this kind of thing. And then suddenly he's had to knocking out people. And I'm thinking, suspect. Glad he got busted because he is the home fighter. Shows there is some sort of fairness, with the drug testing. And just don't like his attitude. And I'm really pleased that Eubank didn't get screwed. Eubank got his respect at the end, and I'm really pleased that fans start to like him. There's also a lot of it was like theatre. You couldn't write the script. It was just an epic fight, like a Rocky movie, and fair play to both guys. This is sport at its best, entertainment, great evening. And the biggest thing for me was when Eubank Senior turned up. Yeah, it's wonderful drama.
No, it's not wonderful. Yeah, but
it is.
Do you know why? Do you know why I didn't like
WWE?
It's not just that. It's that a part of any man's life is basically separating himself from his father and becoming his own man. And it's just so it's so infantile to see like their dads there, even like him crying into his dad's arms and stuff. It's like sort of like being treated like children. It really grated with me because it's just two infants that haven't grown up having a scrap, and their fathers are participating in it. There's something about it that really bothers me, and I think it's because it just represents that they haven't grown up.
We could talk about this deeper, but I disagree with you there. I disagree. There was Paul Ince is not actually related to Nigel Benn. That was Ambrose Mendy back in the day. Used that as a ploy to sort of big up the two when Ben was coming up. Paul Ince was already a star. But they said they were cousins, but they aren't actually really related in any way. But yeah, it was just a big theatre. I like Chris Eubank Senior.
Me too.
Yeah, there's a lot more to him than meets the eye if you actually listen to what he's saying. And he did say a lot of stuff before the fight and a lot of stuff about the dirty side of boxing, which kind of keeps him hushed up a lot of the time. So if you want someone who's going to talk real about a sport, not be because you get a lot of commentators, not us, that giving some sort of cash or a backhander to back a certain thing. We support Man United, we back Man United. We're not paid by Man United, so we can tell the truth. And this is why I think people like.
You go mental when we tell the truth about Manchester United and tell us we need to support Anana and things.
No, I'm just saying.
You should be like Eubank Senior and have that little police badge on because you're a big fan of police.
Yeah. But you tell me, it's in sport. In sport, it's good to talk. It's good to hear somebody talk straight, and especially when you're involved in sport with so much corruption and things being rigged, and I want to hear somebody who talks honest truth about the sports, and doesn't have an agenda, whether it's with Sky Sports, BBC, we want to hear the truth. And I think Chris Eubank, if you give him a microphone, people get worried because he will call people out. If we look at Chris Eubank Jr., he was, during the press conference, he wouldn't let Eddie Hearn speak. Did you see that? During the press conference, he would not let Eddie Hearn speak because he said, you're a scumbag. I'm not having you say anything. This is my press conference. Don't say a word, And I thought, wow, it's like fighting against all the high powers. You have to give the man respect.
It's always good to make sure that people can't challenge your opinion or speak. That's always a wonderful way of getting to the truth. So
it's always good to shut down oppression and the oppressors.
Yes, Eddie Hearn, it really is. Everything that's wrong. We've got Chat Sport. Good evening to you, sir. We've got Stuart Marshall off a fantastic appearance last week on the fan forum. I hope you're doing well, and we'll have the pleasure of Stuart's company tomorrow night for the match reaction. Someone who is rarely a pleasure is Bart. Good evening to you, Bart. I hope you enjoy your title win. You should celebrate every single one as if it's your last. And we've got I Am Titanium. I'll tell you what, we'll deal with Yamal after we've said hello to everyone. This is quite a good joke from Bart. Is Monday saving electricity after what happened in Spain?
Yeah, we don't want to have a discussion about that. That's backstage.
I do. I want to know what happened.
That's a backstage discussion. We had a power cut in Hayes recently. There's one of the power stations blew up, and it shut down Heathrow for a day. And then there's one the other day in Paddington. Power thing blew up in Paddington, near Paddington Station the other day.
Something's going on, Yabba.
Where's Scooby-Doo?
I can't wait. I want to end the show now.
And then there was a power cut. Obviously, people know there's power cut in parts of Spain and France, and I think it's 4 mainland European countries. Big power cut as well. So, guys, just be prepared. Just imagine if your electricity goes or something. How will you manage? Will you panic? Will you run to the government? Help me, please. Who knows?
Do you have an emergency kit, Yappa? Like in case of these sort of things.
Like Rambo.
Yeah, like I'm
go out in the woods. You'll see me in the local park, with my stripes.
Foraging.
Yeah.
We've got Vincent. Power has gone to his head. Next thing he's going to be telling us he's running for Prime Minister. I assume this is Eddie Hearn, maybe?
I don't know. I would like to know who he's talking about there.
Yeah.
Lamau?
Wouldn't have thought so. Now YouTubers become boxers. Yeah. Russians doing a lot of espionage at the moment. Not all of it reported, but Andrew's on them. Russia's main base of intelligence operations is in southern Spain. I used to live in southern Spain, Andrew. Tell me where that is. Please tell me it's Huelva. I can imagine Yabba being a secret doomsday person where he's got the first aid kit to live for 20 years. But I was saying that Hinde's aliens caused the power cut. I can't. We need to have a supernatural summer instead of transfer windows. Right, before we get on to United Bilbao, should we do a bit of Champions League review?
How good is this guy, man?
What, Yamal?
They talk about talent, man. Yeah, we've got Garnacho. They've got Lamau. I mean, he's frightening. He's frightening. It's just whether he stays consistent, like you were saying, bath time.
Yeah, because I mean, for me, I've said for years that the two best 17-year-olds, you have to look at Pele and then it's Rooney. Like Rooney was better than everyone else at 17. I'm not so sure I can say that anymore because I mean, Yamal's won he's won the Euros. He's scoring in the semi-finals of, and he's like, it's not like he's getting tap-ins and stuff. He's scoring like goals you dream about scoring. I'm blown away with him. My only concern is if he stays fit and he stays like focused on football, he's going to be such a treat for the next 15, 20 years. He's going to bring so much wonder and joy to the world. And I just hope that we don't get a Goycochea incident for him or a bit closer to home, Andy Carroll on Ericsson.
God, yeah.
But the boy's got everything, the world's at his feet, and he feels even different to me than Mbappe did at that age. Like Mbappe was great, but Yamal there's something different about him. Yaba, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I watched his goal. I was watching the first half today. His goal was unbelievable. They went 2-0 down, didn't they? After 30 seconds, they were a goal down, and they went 2-0 down. But they were dominating the game. They still are now. And I just thought, okay, what's going to happen next? Because how do you break down this Inter defense? And he's got the ball, and just it's like 50-50, isn't it? He can go both ways. He drop a shoulder. You don't want him going his left side for sure. But it's just like that gives an option to go to the right and push and go. Because he's dribbled so tight in a tight area, he's able to get out his feet and just curl it into the back of the net. And then he had a chance after that where he went to the touchline and dropped that left back.
He did the delap slide, didn't he?
Yeah, and had a shot that was on target, but the keeper, Summer, saved it. But it was given a goal kick, but it hit the bar or something like that. I thought, wow, this guy is doing things at 17 years old on his own in a great team, mind you, but you think to yourself, would he do that at Man United or would he? Yes, he's that good. I mean, I'm judging it by, like you said, you've seen him in the Euros, you've seen him in the Champions League, now you see him in the La Liga, top league. He's doing it week in, week out. And like Bathtime said, consistency is everything. But at 17 years old, I don't know if he can get better. It's funny, isn't it? I don't know if he can get any better. He's quick. He's got that whippet kind of pace where he can get a yard. He's got great technique. And I've seen his rise. I've studied him. You can see he's been brought up on football, nothing but football. The training regimes they're giving these young players these days. He's just a complete article at 17 years old. And what a great player. Joy to watch. Just a real joy. I enjoy watching players like that. And just to say, no matter what he does, nobody, and I repeat, no one will ever surpass Pele, what he did in the 1958 World Cup.
Is this what you're getting angry about?
Don't even compare the two. Talk about Norman Whiteside, Rooney, talk about them guys, but don't bring Pele into the conversation.
No, Pele's world.
Go back and watch what Pele did to grown-ass men. Look what he did to Beckenbauer. Look what he did to grown-ass men in 1958, 17, flicking the ball over someone's head, volleying it in, dropping people on the backside.
An argument that no one is having.
I know he's arguing with himself, isn't he?
No one is making that argument.
Just in case.
Like your emergency apocalypse kit. My fear, is I have one fear for Yamal, which is Cristiano Ronaldo, and to a lesser degree Gareth Bale. You talked about can he get better and stuff like this. If he can consistently score goals, he's going to reduce his game. And there's going to be less dribbling and there's going to be more goals. And we see it a lot with young players. They all start off so, like there's this joy and this love of sort of doing exciting things. And then when coaches get hold of them, when they're at the top clubs and they need results, they kind of narrow their game. And I think at the moment, you've just got to enjoy a player like Yamal because I think in 5 years, you're going to see a very, very different player, like much more efficient.
What Pep did to Grealish.
Kind of, yeah.
Dribbling. No, I don't see that. If they've got it in this. Do you think do Spanish coaches take that out of the game? Bathtime, isn't that something that they they want to, bring out of their players. I understand maybe English, Prem, but
Spain isn't known for producing dribblers. It's about it's sort of passing the ball and things like that. That's what it's all been about. Like they've always prided themselves on producing very good strikers, like Raúl and Morientes and like other people and stuff like that. But like players like Yamal and Iñaki Williams are very kind of new to Spain, because I can remember when I was there, Arsenal played Barcelona, I think, and they were shitting themselves over Theo Walcott for about 2 weeks, because the Spanish are traditionally really slow, and pace has always been a massive issue to them. And now you look at that team, and Yamal, Williams, Ferran Torres, like they're all grease lightning. Spanish coaches just traditionally don't have to deal with dribblers. It's normally about sort of positional football and keeping hold of the ball.
Yeah.
I know we've got a preview to do, but yeah, I don't want to bite too much on that. I don't think Spain
Why?
It's only in the last 20 years Spain have produced top strikers. They've always struggled. Inter Milan have just scored, by the way, to make it 3-2. And Dumfries, a second goal, which is amazing. He's an absolute beast of a player, isn't he? But yeah, I just think we should talk about the preview. And you mentioned Bilbao, a player there, Nico Williams. And is he in the thumbnail with Bruno?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a player that we
don't want to talk about Arsenal.
All right. You talk about Arsenal and Theo Walcott.
No, the Arsenal getting beat 1-0 by PSG.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. Oh, right.
Yeah, there you go. Now
All right.
Look at the smile. Look at the smile on his face.
Let me just say this. Paris Saint-Germain, amazing. They performed brilliantly. Arsenal beat them early in the season in the Champions League, and I think that gave them a bit of confidence, when Liverpool were losing, say, well, we beat them, but yesterday they got a rude awakening, because they completely dominated for the first half an hour at their ground. It shouldn't be happening if you're an elite team. You got people like Arsenal, Seedorf after the game. Now, it's not me saying this, it's just Seedorf, who's obviously a multiple Champions League winner. He said that Arsenal lacked the mentality and the will to win. If they're going to win the Champions League, they need to change their mentality. And they said not many people stepped up today and delivered. And it's true. You got players like Saka. He played pretty well, to be honest, but he had it tough. He was up against it, played pretty well, but it still wasn't enough. Rice done really well. He's clearly a stand-up player. But beyond that, Arsenal really lacking.
Odegaard, man.
Odegaard's got a will. I mean, this is a guy who's instrumental to them. He's a captain as well.
Yeah, he's better than Bruno.
Oh, yeah.
They used to say that. Imagine he's a captain and he's their creative player as well. But he didn't captain well yesterday, and he wasn't very creative either. And he's getting munched. This is what really shows the difference between Premiership level and elite European level. He was getting munched. They've equalised, by the way, Barcelona. He was getting munched every time he got the ball and wasn't getting any success. And it must be frustrating for him, because he's that much off becoming a top player. But that difference, he hasn't made that difference yet. He hasn't been able to overcome that. And I think for players that we think are good, the Ben Whites, the Sakas, the Martinellis. Yeah, even the centre back, Saliba, is very good. They have to get an extra 10% to make them elite.
It's just Rice that has really come.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Yeah, and I think Rice is the only one in recent games and recent performances. And even when I remind you that he did win it with West Ham as well, he's the only one who's got the fortitude, the capacity to step up a level. And without that fear, and he demanded the ball. There was times when I see Arsenal trying to play out, and it's like, oh my god, if I pass to him, he's going to get pinched. They were thinking too much, but he was the only one demanding the ball, fearless to say, "Yeah, give it to me. I'm strong enough to hold it up. I'm going to do my thing." And just to go back to Paris before I finish up, every one of their players is strong. I see Saka, wiry strength, holding off the Premier League players, no problem. You couldn't do that to that left back yesterday. And Salah had problems with him as well. The Portuguese left back, who's just a kid himself, strong, and their right back, the Moroccan guy, is so physically strong and fast as well. And then Doué, strong as an ox, and then the guy came on, the midfielder, strong, and look at the build of him. It's just like these guys, and they're on it. As Paris are the form team, and I think Paris are going to win the Champions League. Unfortunately for Arsenal, they are levels beyond elite.
Not out of it, though.
They're out of it.
They should be out of it. They should be out of it because it should be 3-0. They missed 2 really good chances at the end. And I was incredibly surprised how PSG competed physically against Arsenal. I thought Vitinha, Neves, I thought that they were weak. They were a lot weaker than that. I knew Fabian Ruiz was going to compete, but they really did get stuck in about Odegaard and things like that. And I mean, I felt that Kvaratskhelia was another standout player, always wanting the ball, move so nicely. He reminds me of those kind of 70s players that have their socks down, that they're they haven't pulled their socks up, the way he moves and things. And maybe some apologies are in order, Yabba, because we all laughed at you, I think, 2 years ago when you said Dembele was better than Saka. And he's had an amazing season, Dembele. He's got over 30 goals. But I've really started to dislike Arsenal more than normal this season.
Welcome to the club, BT. Welcome to the club.
It's just they get a corner and they're running around, waving their arms up and down at the crowd and stuff. Just piss off. It's not the crowds. You give the crowd something to excite them instead of you doing all that. And all the crying that they were doing all match. I completely agree with Seedorf. So I watched Villa play Palace in the FA Cup. Don't know if you saw that, Yabba. And I was disgusted by what I was seeing Villa doing. They were there's a lot of time in a football match. You don't need to be opening the floodgates after 25, 30 minutes. And Arsenal, right, fine. It's difficult to go to PSG and get a result, but United have done it. Other clubs have done it. Just shut down. Don't do anything foolish. Just keep yourself in the game. And I just saw the way that they were so emotionally all over the place. It's such a bunch of losers.
All week they'd been on Twitter. Bring your boots and bring your kit and bring your shin pads. Fucking pricks. You know what I mean? I'm glad. Look, I hate Arsenal. I'm glad that welcome to our world now, BT. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. I'm delighted to be here. You should do some comments.
Yeah, and I think we should start the preview probably, innit?
Yeah. All right. Arsenal fortunate PSG didn't have their shooting boots on. Yeah. Really weird chance in that game where Ramos just toe poked it against the bar. I don't think I've seen that in professional football for quite a long time. Yeah, Barcola and Ramos should have finished the tie off. Arteta went all defensive like Southgate. I don't agree with that. I thought they were far too open in the last 20 minutes. If Enrique wins them the European Cup, would you rate this triumph higher than his treble with Barca? Not really bothered by either of those achievements, to be honest.
I don't care.
I'll probably go for this PSG team because I think that they're a very likable team, to be honest. What was that flag all about at Arsenal? What a joke! Did you see about this though? They submitted loads of different designs, and Arsenal said no to every single one. So they then just put that crappy cannon out.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I'm glad there was an offside. Yeah, that was quality. That when Marino's goal was disallowed. I enjoyed that one.
The hatred to half time. I'm loving it. I really am loving it.
They're just so performative, Mr. B. It's like Eubank and Ben again. They're out there acting like children.
It's nothing like Eubank and Ben.
Well, yeah, at least they went and performed and sort of gave it everything. There's just something so immature about that Arsenal side. It really, really annoys me. It's like it reminds me a lot of Newcastle and stuff. They think that they're owed something, and I find it annoying. Like you look at someone like Lewis Skelly, who's sort of like good player, decent player, but his attitude is not what I would want from Manchester United player, because our players like have this kind of stardust where they perform. Like you look at John O'Shea, nutmegging Figo, chipping goalkeepers and stuff. It's about producing something. Whereas for them, it's sort of like kid on football. It's like it's doing something that amounts to nothing, and then like turning around and acting like a gladiator in front of the crowd. It's so performative. I don't like it.
Jesus.
Um,
Boy, you are going in today, boy.
Do you think is that unfair?
Yeah. I think Lewis Skelly, he's getting a raw deal. I don't like the way the media are going for him because he didn't say something to Haaland or do this Haaland celebration. And I think it's good. You want to see characters like that. When Gaza was doing that, coming through and, being a bit of a, having a bit of a personality, it was all like, fun and games. But with Skelly, I don't know why they're getting on his back like that. It's a bit unfair and uncalled for. He's got a good grounding. And I've looked into his, how he's been brought up by his mum. And, he's a good professional. And he's a good kid by all accounts. So all this thing about, he thinks he's really big bollocks or whatever. I think
he does.
He's
earned
done
the right
really
to
well.
be really big bollocks.
Even yesterday, he's one player that I thought, okay, he's up against it, playing in that position where he's a bit vulnerable against these wide guys and fast guys and all that kind of thing. But he held his own. And that's when all the other character stuff goes out the window. That's the character you want to see from a player like that.
That's what annoyed me, Yabba, was it's exactly the same criticism I had against Anthony when we played against Sevilla. Skelly turned it into an individual thing, him versus Doué, instead of being part of a team. And that always gets to me when like people sort of try and make it about themselves. I mean, the whole Haaland stuff is just really embarrassing all round, not just on him. Like, I blame people like Rice more for stuff like that. Like, when you've won something, you can sit there and take the piss out of Haaland. But until that moment, I don't be doing stuff like that. And you're right, he's 19 or 18 or he's a kid. It's people like Odegaard and Rice should be getting him out of that. What's happened?
Sorry, Inter just scored, but it's offside. But yeah, that's another debate. I just think Skelly is his character he's shown. Look, he's, like I said, he is 19. He's not making it about him and Doué in that battle. It was. I mean, it has to be because he has to defend against these guys. I thought he done really well against him. And the other side, you had the Timber, who was
really, had a nightmare.
Yeah, he was really struggling, wasn't he, against the Georgian guy? So this is elite football. It is really tough, and I feel sorry for them. As a defender, I remember games when I'd go up against a team, like I'm warming up and I'm seeing, oh God, I'm playing against this guy. And it really make your belly turn because you're thinking, I'm up against it. I'm going to have to be on my toes. What if he burns me out? What if he gasses me out? What if he beats me for pace? What if he twists me up? What if I don't stay on my toes? It's so many things to think about. And I think that's why I think defenders don't always get a raw deal because you're the one who's always going to get, left on your backside, giving away stupid fouls, or you'll get the blame for everything. So when I see them have a good, consistent game, I have to applaud it. When they're up against,
got to prepare better, Yabba. Like Timber was obviously like too emotional. He was shitting himself about playing like Kvaratskhelia. He did every single thing that you see from a scared defender. He got too tight. He was like pulling the shirt before the ball came in. Let all the basics like out of the game. And the thing that annoyed me about that so much is it was right in front of Arteta every single time. Like, the manager should just be telling him like to calm himself down and play, how he play the way that got him to play in a European semi-cup final. Like, it was just They're too many emotions for me, Abba. But speaking of emotions, Mr. B, tomorrow night, all or nothing. Bilbao versus Manchester United. Oh, how are we feeling?
I'm not even nervous. I don't. It's weird. Without going into my score prediction, I feel that the home leg is going to be where we really, really turn it on. I just want them to be in this leg. I'm not, we lose 2-1, fine. We lose 1-0, fine. But be in the leg. We can't be 3-0 down and be talking about remontadas all week or whatever that word is, remontada, or whatever the word for comeback.
Near enough. Using. I prefer remontada, though.
Yeah, well, so yeah, we just need to be in it. Bilbao's home form is great this season. We'll be up against it with Bathtime. I'm not confident. I'll be honest. I'm not confident.
Yeah,
yeah, it's really this is like you said, all or nothing. This game is everything to us, and it's going to be so exciting. It's going to be really tense as well, especially the first game in Bilbao. Their stadium, the fans are going to be massive, and the atmosphere is going to be crazy, out there. But the thing is, with Man United, you talk about how Arsenal played yesterday. They're good sides, and they know we try and impose ourselves here, and they couldn't, and then they had to go on the back foot, and they really struggled. We know we've been struggling, so we can go there knowing we're humble enough to say this team is good. We can't probably do much against them. They've had 12 draws or 14 draws, I think it is, this season. Bilbao, but they hardly lose. They've got a really good defense as well. We got hope, like Stuart said in the comments, that maybe we can come away with a score draw, and we can do it. We've proven it many times this season that when our minds are right and we switch on and we follow the manager's instructions, we can set up ourselves in a way where we can restrict the opposition from having many chances. Now, we know what their threat is. It's going to be Williams, one-on-one situations. He's going to be dangerous. But beyond that, I think if we set up and have our players disciplined enough, we got a good opportunity to have a base there to go and at least get 1 or 2 chances and, restrict them and keep their fans quiet. A bit like how Paris, when Arsenal quiet anyway, but a bit like shut their fans up. Their fans will be going off tomorrow. It's a huge game for them in their history, to get to a final at their ground. Their final will be in Bilbao. So they will be on it.
And it's more than that, Yabba. They see that stadium the same way Barcelona see the Nou Camp. It is the national stadium of the Basque Country. So it has even more significance. It's not like a final in their ground. It's a final it's like their Wembley, basically. So it's so important for them. And it would be like one of the greatest things that has happened in the history of the Basque Country to win the trophy there at their stadium.
If you think there could be more pressure on Bilbao to win the game, then
huge pressure.
They could fold under the pressure tomorrow.
Absolutely.
If they could fold, Mr. B, if we don't give them a good start, like Barcelona did today with Inter, scoring after 30 seconds. If we really shut them down and get to half time, the most important for 45 is the first 45 minutes. Get to half time and make sure we are matching them, and it's 0-0 or we're drawing with them or somehow, or even being up. We need to find a way to do that. Big up to Simon Warner now. I've just seen someone that I think is very important to this game. You mentioned there, Luke Shaw as well. I think Luke Shaw is essential. It's fantastic he's come back. I've heard Mr. B in our group chat and Bathtime say what a good player he is when he's fit. And Mr. B even agreed that when he's fit, he's a top class player.
But he's not fit. He's a liability, man. He's a liability. He ain't played for so long.
Mr. B, experience.
Yeah, but you can have
He's experienced, sure.
If your legs can't move, what's the point of having the experience?
Well, I think experience is vital tomorrow. Again, in the atmosphere, the magnitude of the game, we just need to hold on, And if you talk about having Heaven in there or
we're not.
Luke Shaw,
we're not.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're talking about, Heaven's not available, we've got Luke Shaw to come in. And I would rather Luke Shaw than Heaven because he's more experienced. He's been in this sort of arena before. He's played in European Championship finals before, you know. This is a guy who's assured, probably got the best first touch in the Premier League. He's a good defender. Yes,
for a left back, I'll
yes,
agree
he
with
has.
that. For a
Yes,
left back, yes. He doesn't have the best first touch in the Premier League.
You know, I'm just trying to pump him up, you know.
Right,
Luke Shaw returning to the side at this sort of stage of the season with this vital game tomorrow. I just think it's like, okay, phew, at least we got some experience there at the back.
To start, yeah?
Yeah.
Hang on. Right, this is what I want to ask because we're going to pick the team next, right? As a threesome. I am actually with Yabba on this. That I think that we should be focusing on a team that could look after the ball and defend well because it's two legs, and I don't think we need to score, but we can't come out with anything but a 1-0 deficit. Like if we're going to go forwards, and that would be what I would be looking to sort of pick the team. So I'm with Yabba on experience, like all that kind of stuff. Are you with us on this, Mr. B, or do you want a kindergarten out there?
I want a kindergarten out there.
Will you accept like that we are going to be possibly considering players such as Eriksen and Casemiro, and you're not going to threaten us?
I'm open to all suggestions. I'm going to keep an open mind. I mean, we spoke. Was it Monday? We spoke about Shaw maybe not playing because he had played the 90 minutes. I just don't know. I just don't know what he's going to do. But I wouldn't be starting Shaw. I wouldn't be starting Shaw.
All right. Should we get into it then? All right. Let me press some buttons.
And I'm not going to shout, and I'm not going to cuss. I'm just going to accept.
Can I just say, I hope we all agree on this.
We're not going to, Yappa.
We're not going to agree.
Guys, remember this, yeah? We're now, it's nearly May. If we can't agree by this stage of the season, which should be in season after that, of a team that will go in our biggest game, then we got problems.
Are you agree shaming us?
Here to what's going on at this stage.
No, no. Like, look, that's just not the case because it's a subjective thing. I'm going to say now, it doesn't matter if we all don't agree. I've got the feeling, though, Mr. B, that we're going to have to concede to Yabba to keep him happy this evening.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Yeah. All right. Remember, lads, I can't see your faces when this is up. So I basically get acquired autism.
No problem.
I can't read social cues.
No problem. I'll do the messages from now. Hold
on. Okay. Am I up?
Can you enlarge it?
I'll try.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Should we just do the ones we know? Like, it's going to be an Anna in there because Bayinda is injured. Right. My first question is, we know what his preferred back three is. Do we all think it's going to be Yoro, Maguire, Mazraoui?
Good old Steph. There you go. Yep. That's what I would be putting in. Just like Stephanie.
Yabba?
All right, I would go with that, but I'm definitely putting Luke Shaw on the side, which means he goes left wing back.
Even though he played 90 minutes?
What position did he play?
He played left centre half.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. Maybe go with this one then. Yeah, maybe I'll take that.
Well, would you agree, Yabba, that this is his preferred back three at the moment?
At the moment, yeah. This seems to be the one he's gone with. But considering that Shaw's on the comeback and he respects Shaw, I think Shaw's got to start. So I don't know. I wouldn't go Harry Maguire. Shaw will play where Euro plays usually, but Euro's been playing pretty well. Is this game too much for Euro?
No.
Euro's got a bit more height than all the other guys. It's a tough decision, but I would consider.
I think it's an easy decision, Yabba.
No,
Do
I
you
don't think
do you
so.
want to change your back three?
The experience. You've got Maz, who's experienced, you've got Harry Maguire's experience, and you've got Euro in this atmosphere. You know, Euro's
Yeah, but
been a good defender.
Yeah, but do you understand
you're
the point I'm making? This is the back three that works the best together. I can't see him changing it.
I agree with you, but what I'm trying to say is it worked well at the moment because of the availability. Now we've got someone else who could be considered, who got 90 minutes the other day and slowly got back his fitness with Luke Shaw. This is someone, you know, with everybody fit, it has to be considered a starter. But the thing is, how do you drop the guys that have been performing well at the moment? It's a tough
Yeah, and
decision.
Luke Shaw's come in and made mistakes in the 2 games he's played. So
All right. I'm
Can we
with
go
you
to
guys.
chat
For now,
and see?
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Right,
So
I'm just going to put a player that I think we're all going to agree is going to play here. Do we all think Dorgu will have this position?
the right side.
Yeah.
Why is Dallo not available?
Yeah,
He's
he's
injured.
injured.
He's out for the season.
Yabba.
Really?
Yeah.
Since when?
Since you were sick.
Since like a couple of days ago.
What happened to him?
I don't know, but he's
not
out.
saying he's out. Cough. They said it was his calf muscle.
Oh wow! Falling like dominoes, aren't they?
All right. So are we all? But we're all happy for Dorgu to play the right wing back.
It could be Maz playing there, Euro right centre back, and Luke Shaw left centre back. Then I know,
but
Shaw's going to start tomorrow.
Yeah, but I don't think he changes the back three. It's just you know football. You've played it, you've watched it. If you have a settled back three that you like, you do everything you can to keep it.
Well, personally, I think Dorgu will play left wing back because I know you can put Amas in there. Amas is not experienced, so that's why I'm saying Maz will play right wing back, which he's played before. And
all right, let's have a look. Let's have a look at what. So I think but like you can keep talking, but I think I know what you're going to do.
You know, I'm playing Euro right centre back, Shaw left centre back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right, and then here will be Maz.
Dorgu.
Sorry, Dorgu here. Yeah, Maz other side. Not Drogba. And then you want
Maz as the right wing back. This is experience. This is balance. This is something that is vital for us, considering Dallo's out. I can't believe Dallo's out at this stage of the season. But that, to me, looks like a solid back five, as you call it.
Yeah, the one thing I'll agree with you on.
How you can improve on that.
Sorry, do you think Shaw's going to start over Lindelof? Do you think he'll start Shaw over Lindelof?
That's the starting team. With Dallo out, I'm 100% sure that's how it's going to be.
I do agree with Yabba that having Euro and Amas on the left-hand flank does slightly worry me. And when you think about the pace of like the Williams lads, those players look like they can do it. They look like they'd work well together to sort of double up and like defend the wide areas. So if I saw that, I'd be all right because the next 5 players is really tough to pick.
Oh, look, before we go any further, let me just get a couple of these out of the way. So Simon Warner, he's gone. It'll be Bruno Garnacho, Misfit Rasmus, and in the 3-4-3 formation. He's also gone Mazraoui, Ugarte, Casemiro, and Dorgu. Stephanie, our back three must be Mazraoui, Maguire, and Euro. I Am Titanium is going Euro, Maguire, Shaw for him. Look, but because you're here, I'm actually going to do it, but I don't really give a toss about your question. Bruno has played a role in 45% of all games scored by United this season in the Premier League. United are one-man army. See, I got your question out just because you're polite, just because you're still here, but I'm not even interested in what you said, to be fair. Simon, trolling, that's why. Simon, Shaw will no doubt be subbed at halftime because he would have tripped over his laces going onto the pitch. Chat Sport is saying don't bring Shaw in. Stephanie is saying, Shaw back up to Amas, only at left wing back. I am Titanium. I play Shaw and Dorgu down the left and Mazraoui on the right. Let me just see if there's any more stars. Stewart has gone Maguire, Euro and Shaw. Stephanie's talking about the midfield. Welcome, Johnny Hill. Garnacho and Hoyland against Bilbao. Bilbao would treat the attack like it's a friendly game. Okay. Right, what we got?
I am putting in what I think he's going to play. And then we
can disagree.
Yeah. So this isn't what I want. This is what I think he'll go, and I'll tell you the reasons why. Kobe and Ugarte scored against Lyon. Samiro got 3 assists. Bruno is the captain. I think it's so difficult to leave any of those 4 players out. I would, but obviously Garnacho's not there, and I would personally like to play Bruno at false 9 and Garnacho where Bruno is in that team.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No
100%. 100%.
Really?
100%. We're away from home.
And he's got form for dropping players after they finally score.
The thing is, as I said, because the goal, it was such a shit goal. It wasn't even like, we talk about like he bent it round the box, he went past 3 men. It was shit. But if he plays this, I'm happy. Bar Shaw, take Shaw out. But then, okay, if Shaw comes out and Mazraoui goes left,
I think that's a good team.
Who plays right? Who would play right midfield if Shaw didn't play?
What do you mean right midfield?
Sorry, left. Hold on, right.
Amas.
Ooh.
That's a lovely team.
Do you know what? I think he might start what you've got.
MrB, is he's had with instead of Shaw, he's had.
Yeah, I don't think he plays Amas. I don't think he plays
Amas here, and that would like that back 3 plays all the time. And last time, do you remember how like crazy I got because I couldn't believe he played Amas and Euro like next to each other?
They played all right.
They did, but they're so inexperienced that I wouldn't do that.
No fear.
I think my concern about this team is Luke Shaw, because he is a good player, but it was very, very clear to me that he was extremely rusty against Bournemouth, and he did play Dorgu into problems.
So what see on paper, this is probably the best team that we could put out. I just don't feel Shaw starts. I just don't feel, but I would rather Shaw started than Lindelof.
I mean, could he do Shaw at left wing back? Would you feel more comfortable with that?
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah, but then I think you see with Shaw, we probably need -9 to be playing.
Yeah, that was my next thing.
Yeah, if Shaw plays in that position, he needs something that he can focus on, or Bruno's not going to be that one.
The other thing is, is that like so much of our play is about like Rasmus being the icebreaker, like clearing a path for the other 2 players. I wonder if this is a waste having Bruno in the false 9, because he's one of our more reliable finishers. Like if you were doing it based on the best kind of ball strikers, the players that are most likely to score, I'd actually consider that. Like having Garnacho like stretching the defense and running with the ball, and then Bruno and Mainu coming in behind him.
Yeah.
Can't hold it up though. Then again, Nick and Rasmus.
We're not going to have a lot of the ball tomorrow. I like you say. So against this
Are you
team,
convinced? Do you think? So are they? You think they're going to dominate the ball?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I also think that we're gonna look for transitions. I would think in how we score goals, and I think those three, Bruno, Mainu, and Garnacho, are good on the transition. They're better than Rasmus, he's just not good enough at the bounce pass, is he?
No.
And the thing is that in defence, you would expect, it's really easy to sort of to go to a block, isn't it? Of dropping Shaw in, dropping Bruno in, and having a 4-4-2.
Yeah, but have you ever seen him? I don't think I've ever seen us do the 4-4-2 in game where you can actually see it standing out.
These players will be absolutely fine to do that, though. So it's that's a situation that they can do themselves.
Yeah, but that's only if that's an instruction from Amarim. I've just never seen them go
problems themselves.
Yeah, but you solve problem yourselves, and then your manager's pissed off because you're not doing what.
Yeah.
As I said, if I'm, I'm pissed off when players switch sides without we switched during the game. I never told you to switch. You know what I mean? You look at, I obviously it's completely different levels, granted, but that's what. Is it more for the manager to? I understand you want the players to solve problems on the pitch, but dropping into a 4-4-2, which I've just never seen them do.
Yeah, no, you're completely correct. But the thing is that players will always resort to what's got them to where they're going. So I always even with these formations, to, in my head, see if that team can drop into a 4-4-2. Because that is just a standard block. What's
Stephanie's got?
Says Shaw adds width, but only to his waistline.
Nice.
Sorry, go Bathtime. Sorry.
The other player I want to ask you about, Yabba, was Christian Eriksen.
Yeah? What do you want to know about him?
Well, is he suited to an away game in Europe where we need experience, good use of the ball?
Yeah, because if you're giving a scenario, if we're playing Bruno up front, the two most important players here are Ugarte, Casemiro, or whoever's playing in those roles. I think that's really important for tomorrow's game because we need discipline. We need people there who's going to block them out and stay in position, stay in that block, and maintain that position so they can't open us up. So I think whoever plays there has to be experienced, has to be disciplined, and I think having Casemiro and Ugarte is not too bad. But maybe you could put someone like Eriksen in there as well, because so we can have some outlet. Because what you know of Eriksen, his use of the ball is brilliant. So you could take out someone like Ugarte, put Eriksen with Bruno. Eriksen with Casemiro, which didn't work the other week in the Premiership, but could work with less physicality in against Bilbao. And then what this gives you?
Well, he'd do this surely, wouldn't he?
Well, either way, you need someone with Bruno and Eriksen. There's two players there who can have that pass, open things up, and make things happen. You don't expect that from the other players to the level of those two. So having one or two of them in the side is important. If you're pushing Bruno higher up the pitch, there's no one to feed him, and then Bruno's having to do everything. He's going to end up dropping deeper.
So you would play Eriksen, although he has no legs. You'd play Eriksen instead.
Well, I just think it's discipline in this sort of game. It's discipline, and I just think against a non-Premiership side, there's more opportunity for Eriksen to play because I can't see him. There's less chance than playing a Premiership team that he's going to get bullied and moves at the ball and stretched. I think his ball retention is important because we give us opportunity to keep the ball in certain situations and not have them raiding, dominating the play so much. We can get the ball, keep it for a few minutes, and give us a bit of a respite, which is important because you want to go to halftime 0-0, want to get to the end of the game without conceding. And I just think there's moments like that they give you so much respite when you've got a player like Eriksen who can just keep the ball, maintain the ball, pop it around, have spray through passes between each other, tic-tac-toe, and just take the pressure off the whole team for minutes. That is vital, and I don't think it's understated how important that is for a team like that. And this is why I think you can put him in against a game in Spain against Bilbao, because the pace might be a bit slower and it's a bit more suited for that. Cultured, intelligent European football, slow it down and have.
I see it differently, Yabba.
To play it out.
Thank you. I'm sitting here and I just
no. Well, I think that if Eriksen plays, right, it is because the big problem that we have, right, is basically Ugarte. Do we play Ugarte next to Casemiro, or do we play Bruno next to Casemiro? I personally think Bruno right now is a better 6 than he is a 10. Like, he can receive the ball and get it up the pitch, etc., etc. And he's surprisingly disciplined these days in that kind of high volume, short little passing role. So if Bruno plays there, it's who do you kind of play in between the lines? You've got Mount, Kobe, Garnacho, and Eriksen. I don't think that Mount's done enough to be included.
Agreed.
I think that Garnacho, yeah, he could definitely play, but Eriksen by default is, I think, a player that works best with Bruno and Casemiro, and it does that. Those three are the players that allow us to control the ball more than normal, because they're not booting it like down the pitch like Eriksen is showing and dropping to receive, and they trust him with the ball. So I suppose what I'm asking is, do you want, because we know Casemiro is going to play, I think, do you want...
Ugarte was in the press conference.
Yeah, well, who do you want next to him? To Casemiro. Do you want Ugarte or do you want Bruno?
I want Ugarte.
You want Ugarte?
Yeah, I want Ugarte in there. We're away from home. I just think we're away from home. Yeah, we need to be. I just feel that we need to be defensively better. I understand you're bigging up Eriksen, but I just think maybe if it was a home game, maybe Eriksen a little bit more, but away, we need to be. I think we need to be in the game, you know. And if Eriksen can come on, he can play in a couple of positions when he comes on. So if somebody's tiring or whatever, so
you want him to finish, be a finisher.
Yeah, I would rather him be a finisher than a starter. I just, you know, sometimes he looks like he's blowing out of his arse on 25 minutes. If he's only got 25 minutes, give him 25 minutes at the end of the game where he's watched it and knows what pockets and what areas.
And everyone else is tired.
And everybody else is tired, yeah. So then he doesn't look so slow. I mean, I would say the same thing about bringing on Garnacho. But
so is this your team? Or do you want Amas in?
I wouldn't be upset if this team was put out. Because if Shaw plays, Rasmus has to start. I think if Shaw plays in that position, Rasmus has to start. He's playing. Oh. Yeah, don't move Kobe out of that position then. He could go with. I just don't think Shaw. I just don't think Shaw plays. I just don't think Shaw starts.
So would you swap him for Amas, or would you put Dorgu? Would you put
Dorgu left?
Would you put Lindelof? Would you put like Lindelof where Shaw is? In fact, we've got the technology, so I can do it. Instead of asking you to imagine things.
No way.
So, Lindelof. That is.
Oh God, I can't. Lindelof has played so much games when we didn't think
always
he
gets
was
in.
Yeah, you said it, Bathtime. 10 weeks ago, you said he'll play 15 games before the end of the season, and I laughed. But he's on course to play the 15 games. Oh God.
Once again, I think that's a perfectly reasonable team to put out, because Lindelof is very, very experienced. He's played with Maguire a lot, and I think that he's quite a good organizer of a defence these days. Lindelof, I think he'll help Dorgu out a bit, and he's a decent passer.
Has he played with Maguire? Has he been starting with Maguire?
Well, he started with him for like 6 years, didn't he?
No, this season.
No, I don't think so, because I think normally Lindelof has been central, and it's been Heaven and Euro around him when he's played.
Yeah.
All right, well, he ain't playing then.
Okay,
Oh,
so it's
God.
either... I have to agree here with Yaba. I think it's either Shaw or Mazraoui has to play in Lindelof's position.
Guys, I can guarantee this. It's going to be Euro on the right, Shaw on the left, and Maz and Dorgu as wing backs.
This is what... Is this your team, Yaba?
Reason one, because Amas, you can't throw him out like that to the Wolves. He's only played a couple of games. I know he looks potentially good, but you got to think about what we're up against tomorrow. This is an experienced side that you put out here. The only problem I've got is Garnacho needs to play.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you.
Mainu would be dropped for me. And Garnacho would come in. No matter what people say, we love to hate him, but this guy is effective for us. And I even heard Mr. B saying the other day, agreeing that he's the one that makes the most opportunities for us. So, and then,
I wouldn't be surprised by that team at all.
And then Bruno, maybe, I think Bruno's going to play as a 6.
Okay.
For Ugarte. And then
Ugarte's playing. He was in the press conference.
Really?
Yeah, but Ugarte was in the press conference.
Okay.
Well, Casemiro, like, could he be out?
I don't know. He's used to playing in Spain, isn't he?
Yeah, man. Casemiro has to play. He's got that Real
Casemiro Maguire was subbed, 65th minute or something, which suggests to me that they were being saved. And Ugarte didn't start, so you claim he's being rested. So,
right. Yeah, do that. That to me would be a decent team. If you start with that tomorrow, an hour before the game, I'll be saying, yeah, it's on.
But when you talk about experience, am I right in thinking Dorgu is only months older than Amas biologically?
Yeah, but he's played a lot more.
He has played more football. I just think that. Do you remember when the FA Cup was our only hope of doing something last season? Wilcox came in and he demanded Bruno at false 9 and he wanted Amas left back. I wouldn't be surprised to see Amas at left wing back and Bruno at false 9 tomorrow.
Yeah, interesting. Look, suspense is there. I don't know, but I just think give ourselves the best chance of doing it. We don't want to be after the game be cussing and saying Amas wasn't ready for this, because he made a mistake or something like that.
If he plays Shaw and if he starts Shaw and Shaw comes off injured, I just don't think he's had enough. I don't think he's had enough.
He's had one start in a year.
And he always comes back for the big games, whether it's for England or for us.
I mean, right, but since he won consensus this evening, this is your team, correct? There's no one you would change here.
Yeah, that's the team I'd start with.
Are you happy with this, Mr. B?
I will accept it.
Okay.
I'll accept it. It's the Shaw conundrum, to be fair.
Or the Kobe? Scored. The reason we're in this game is because Kobe Mainoo's goal.
Did he come on a sub?
Yeah.
There you go. Maybe he'll use that formula again. There must be a reason why he started the plays that he started in that game. I would start Kobe.
Yeah, I'd start Kobe.
I'd start Kobe. I don't know where he plays, but I'm starting Kobe.
I personally think that this is more likely. Same players, but that.
Okay.
Yeah, the back three is what he wants.
Yeah. Keep it. Dorgu has started on the right, I think, since Delo got injured. I think Shaw and Euro, good mix of experience and youth. Same for Mazraoui and Dorgu. I'd be all right. If I saw this, I wouldn't I wouldn't have a fit.
Okay, it'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. That's for sure.
Yeah, and maybe Amas can
we've
would
struggled
be
with
the
this.
sub for sure.
Mr. B,
Yeah.
what's your? I mean, which one do you fancy? Which
I like this. I like this one.
Yeah.
I do like this one. Yeah, I do like this one.
You said Kobe. You mentioned Kobe.
Yeah, but you know what? Garnacho will come off as sub anyway because he's shit, and then Kobe can come on and get the limelight. So, yeah, he runs him to death. Garnacho comes on, runs him to death, and then Kobe comes on with a lot of sense. And
the other thing is Garnacho he's not really Argentine. He's Spanish, and it will be a massive game for him playing in Spain.
Is there anyone that you're worried about, who's not going to rise to the occasion or not realize how massive this game is? Dorgu. He's the weak link, yeah?
Yeah, I think I'm worried about what Alanga did to him when we played Forest with Inikai Williams, who's sort of similar pace, similar strength. I'm worried about his sort of delivery on the through balls. I'm also worried that Ugarte and Casemiro as a pivot do worry me. They're prone to sort of diving in and so on. I'm happy with the defence. Bruno and Garnacho, fine. I just think that Bruno's been better deeper this season. I worry about Casemiro and Ugarte progressing the ball because otherwise it's going to end.
But I mean, if you look at Casemiro's been playing those first time balls kind of over the top that Bruno's been.
Who are they going to?
Shit.
Rasmus.
Oh, fuck yeah. All right.
And that's the issue. Yeah. So we're going to have to. So in that case, fine, no problem. We find a solution, which is passes out wide, and I'm perfectly fine with Shaw getting the ball out wide and progressing it. But Dorgu on the other hand side, because basically what we'll do is we'll squeeze over this side of the pitch like that, and then our outlet is going to be Dorgu. But I think that is probably the solution to do it.
It's a lot of running for Garnacho, though.
Yeah. So I'm not sure, but he does like someone occupying this area here. Garnacho was doing that against whoever it was that we played, Bournemouth. There's a lack of quality in the team, but I don't know. Who are you worried about, Yabba?
Yeah, I think Dorgu, everyone needs to be switched on. Dorgu hasn't really impressed me as much as I thought he would. He does look a bit amateurish at times. Where he does tick the boxes, he's big and strong. I just want him to show a bit more. It's been a while now, and I haven't seen a bit concerned about him because I'm not seeing enough elite level mindset, elite level ability that you want to see from a player. Or you should be able to see by now, and I'm not seeing it from him. When I look at sort of other players in his position, there's a guy at Spurs, the left back.
Spence.
He came from Italy.
Oh, Doggy.
Yeah, Doggy. For him,
he's good. He
came on the scene. He showed that mentality, and the same as Spence. Spence got the mentality. He goes forward. He's got, he got something about him where he's combative. He wants to. He's got that will to win.
Yeah, but look at that Villa.
Doesn't want to lose any duels or battles. I just think Dorgu, I want to see a bit more mentality from him where he can show some character, where I can get behind him more. Because at the moment, he's the only player I've really got concerns with in his team. And then we can't have any weaknesses against Bilbao. We might not know much about them, but what we do know is that they're in the Champions League places in the league, in La Liga. They've lost only a few games. And they've got the best defensive record in La Liga, which speaks volumes for a team that's really well drilled, well organised, and you cannot afford any slip-ups against them. So because if they go a goal up, they could just lock it down. This is what they're good at. So it's up to us to make sure we don't expose ourselves. And if we are looking at any weaknesses in the dressing room, and you're looking around, I think Dorgu's the guy who, a bit like Paul Ince when they played Barcelona in the 1991. Cup Winners' Cup final, was vomiting before the game with pure nerves. I think Dorgu is a bit like rabbit in the headlights, where he's thinking, everyone else looks on it. I don't know if I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, my concern with Dorgu Yaba is when you look at what I consider to be a very average Premier League fullback in Lucas Digna at Aston Villa, his ability to deliver the ball is levels apart. And Dorgu needs a performance, but I have noticed that his crossing is much more dangerous, like from inverted positions on the right, because that forgives like a poor delivery. Like when you've got to bend it round into that area, like when you use the inside of your foot, the amount of times I've seen him just spoon it straight out or like put some catching practice in. I know I went really early and said Dorgu is never going to be at the level, but I really want a performance from him to prove me wrong. And I do also worry about red cards and things from him, because that's kind of what we've seen. Him do, like, and he is a young boy, so pressure's mounting and things like that. But are we happy to do score predictions, and then I can find out what the power cuts are actually about?
I'm gonna go with 0-0. I think we can start
nice
and get 0-0, bring it back to Old Trafford. That's what I hope. That's what I believe we can do, and that's what I think the tactics will be, to actually silence the crowd, restrict them with their chances, and then pitter it out for a 0-0.
I am going for 1-0 United. Ooh. I am hoping that we get almost a carbon copy of the Carabao Cup final against Newcastle United, and we just defend deep, see what they've got, and nick it with a couple of set pieces. That would be my ideal performance, because one thing, I think we can agree on is that when we sit deep and we're nice and compact, it's very difficult to score against us. We've seen that since Christmas. We're not great at scoring goals, so I just like Garnacho to win a couple of free kicks, get Harry Maguire, he's got the force at the moment, get Casemiro on the end of things, and just have a nice experience, boring game where we can all be happy afterwards.
Nice.
Mr. B?
I think we lose 2-1.
Yeah.
They
don't game.
Yeah, I think we lose 2-1. I have no idea I'm not going to tell you who's going to be scoring first, all of that, but they'll score. They'll definitely score. Anana hasn't made a mistake in 3 games, so he's due one.
No.
Yeah, he's due one. It's normally 1 in 4 he fucks up in. So he there's definitely a rip coming from him.
Rasmus has got another year for his next goal.
Yeah, exactly. We should have taken the loss at Bournemouth and prayed that he scored in this one. I don't see us outscoring them. So I'm gonna go 2-1 tomorrow. But I'm still confident that we'll do them in at home in the home legs. So I still think
I think you're right.
We'll go through.
It's you have to look at 2 legs as a sort of platform. We're at home, like for the second leg, and that means that we're going to be attacking. Like we can't not attack at home. So as long as we've got a good foundation going at home, it's like as much as we all laughed at Arsenal, they're only 1-0 down. Like you can get a goal in a football match. Like as long as we're still in the tie at 2-1, 1-1 or 1-0, whatever, then we're in a really good position. What we can't have is Richard Hawkins' score of 3-1. Can't have 2 goals.
Yeah, we're dead. If we go 2 goals, I think I don't see us scoring that back. Would you rather a 3-2 or a 3-2 loss or a 1-0 loss?
1-0. I mean, I remember many years ago we played Sevilla with Jose in the Champions League, and I think Lucas Muriel, De Gea did a real wonder save from him, and we went back to Old Trafford with a 0-0, and it might have been better if we were 1-0 down. so that we, set up to attack and score goals, because I think they beat us 1-0. So we're going to attack at Old Trafford. So just keep it to 1 or hopefully 0, and we'll be all right. But should we do some score predictions, Yabba?
Yeah, most certainly.
All right. Stuart 2-1. Andrew 2-1. Wow.
Is that really Andrew? Maybe that's V. He's given a positive score.
Well, I mean, he did leave the stream recently because we were being too negative. So maybe it's, I don't know. He's been replaced. 1-1 draw. Jesus, we don't keep many clean sheets. We do in Europe, don't we? Anana isn't goal, remember. All right, fair enough. Only one in the European campaign was 2-0 against PAOK. Stuart's going to be drunk tomorrow. 2-2 draw. Bilbao struggled to get past Rangers. They ain't all that. Rangers are an all right team, I think, in Europe. Like, Ibrox is a hard place to go. Look, don't call Andrew V. It will set I Am Titanium's detective work off. All right, exciting announcement next. MrB, what are you doing tomorrow?
Yeah, you've got no watch along to do tomorrow. Woo!
Is that the first of the year?
I'm sure I've done one. What month are we? No, I must have
done
done
recently.
One. Yeah, I'm sure I've done one.
I can't remember what game it was. I know you done one.
No, do I? I'm sure we did one the other day. But yeah, they haven't been too regular. But the Euro, I told you, the Euros is the competition that I'm interested in. So I will be there tomorrow, 7:45. I'll have my drink on one side. I'll have my drink on the other side. I'll have my ice cream there. I'll have it all prepared. Yeah, we're ready to go tomorrow.
Brilliant.
And you're bringing back Friday night.
Yeah, we're gonna have
that.
Yeah, I have no idea what we're gonna call it, but yeah, we'll have a Friday. I know. I spoke to.
Is it Tyrone?
Montreal. No, Montreal. Who's in Montreal?
POTUS.
Yeah. So I think he might come on Friday.
Good.
I think Tyrone's up for Friday.
Yeah, Tyrone's up as well. And anybody else who's up for a Friday, man, we'll just crack open a couple of bevies, as they say, and yeah, we'll see what where the chat takes us. So yeah, it's gonna be I'm looking forward to Friday. It's a long time since I've sat down and talked a load of fart on a Friday night, so it should be good.
Nice one.
All right, are we ready for lack of notches, or Yabba, do you have something burning away in that brain of yours?
Not really. No, I think I was hoping that when we go to sleep tonight, there'd be a power cut, and when they wake up and have paella in the morning, it will be off, and they will have food poisoning or something like that.
There should be a reaction show tomorrow.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah, there'll definitely be a reaction. Either way it goes.
Wavy, though.
Sorry?
Remember when we beat Lyon, Stuart Marshall was actually at the game and he's red-faced and going off and come on and all that kind of. If he'd be at home tomorrow, but he will be wavy. He said in the comments.
Good.
Yeah, he's coming on tomorrow.
Good. Yeah, he's coming on tomorrow. Good. What about Dora? Is it going to be too late for Dora tomorrow?
Yeah, it's too late for Dora, and I'm not convinced Dora's going to watch the game, to be honest, from what she said today. She has other commitments.
Okay.
But there we are. So anyway, it's now time for me to find out about power cuts. So it's a lack a notch from me.
Lack a notch from me.
Lights out, powers out, lack a notch.